The first time I met Candace Boyle, she yelled at me for trespassing. I hadn't even shut my truck door yet. There she was, in leopard print leggings and a visor wide enough to block the sun, screeching like I'd just run over her begonias. Only thing was, I wasn't on her land. I was standing on mine. "Ma'am," I said calmly, one boot still on the gravel and the other holding a breakfast burrito. "I am the cops." She squinted, confused, then doubled down like she was auditioning for mall security. "This is Oak Hills Estates. We have rules here. I've already called the sheriff." I took another bite of my burrito. "Then he'll be here in 5 minutes. I hate waiting." See, I'm Sheriff Jack Connors. Been in uniform 12 years. Dealt with everything from raccoon-wielding drunks to lawnmower chases. But Candace, she was something else. President of the HOA. Self-declared queen of conformity. And clearly unaware that the wooded acres her neighborhood sat on were still legally mine. That morning, I'd come to inspect the land I inherited from my uncle. I wanted to check boundary markers and maybe decide what to do with the old barn. Instead, I found rows of beige homes, symmetrical bushes, and a woman trying to issue me a citation with a laminated clipboard. She didn't believe my badge. Said it looked fake. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just ignorance. It was power. She enjoyed it. And power-hungry HOA leaders, they don't stop at clipboards. Deputy Lauren pulled up shortly after. Gave me a knowing look. When Candace pointed at me and shouted, "That man is a trespasser," Lauren just chuckled. "Ma'am, that's Sheriff Connors." Candace turned red, then purple, then hissed, "You people think badges make you untouchable." "Not untouchable," I said. "Just write a lot." But her confidence got to me. Something about the way she acted like she owned the ground. So I checked. And that's when it all blew wide open. Back at the station, I dug through the records. Deed still had my name. No permits filed. No zoning approvals. And yet, Oak Hills Estates stood tall on my uncle's untouched woods. It looked like Carter Development had fast-tracked a whole neighborhood by exploiting a legal loophole that allowed conditional annexation if an owner didn't respond in 6 months. Problem was I had tried to respond. Probate delays. Mail backlogs. And nobody told me anything. Next weekend, I came back, this time with a chair and clipboard of my own. I sat on my easement and noted every code violation I saw. Candace showed up in record time. "You can't sit there." "Actually," I said, pointing at a clause in my deed, "I could build a skating rink here if I wanted. You're on my property." Her eye twitched. Then she walked off, slower than before. Less righteous. More rattled. That's when Mrs. Delaney, an older resident, invited me to her porch. She said her son's a surveyor and had flagged something odd months ago. The community map didn't match any official records. Candace fined me once because my garden gnome looked too whimsical. She whispered, handing me a thick binder. Inside, email printouts, meeting minutes, photos of Candace policing grass height with a ruler. Gold. At the next HOA meeting, I sat in the back. Candace kicked things off, boasting about increased fine revenue. When it was time for public concerns, I stood up. Sheriff Jack Connors, and legal owner of the land under your homes. Dead silence. Candace tried to laugh it off. This is a private meeting. I own the clubhouse too, I replied. So I think I'm allowed. I laid it out. Forged deeds, illegal development, misuse of HOA funds. One neighbor stood up and asked, "Are you saying the HOA isn't real?" "I'm saying it's built on a lie." Candace yelled to adjourn the meeting. Mrs. Delaney stood. "No, Candace. This meeting's just getting started." Later, I met with my lawyer, Mr. Halpern. The man had a beard older than me and eyes that saw straight through BS. "Jack," he sighed, flipping through the fake documents. "This annexation clause isn't legally binding. And that signature, absolutely not yours." We had a plan. We created a fake seller identity to offer Carter Development the rest of my land. Within 48 hours, they responded. Eager. Too eager. Meanwhile, Candace escalated. Flyers went around warning of an impersonator sheriff. Grainy photo of me on my own porch labeled trespasser. Her desperation was showing. But the sting worked. Carter's rep met our fake seller at a restaurant wired with cameras. Right before he signed, I walked in. "Mind if I join?" His face drained of color. The folder he handed over, filled with forged deeds, pre-signed contracts, and timelines. Slam dunk. Then came the best part, emails linking Candace to the scheme. She'd pushed for faster approval, suggested workarounds for my ownership, and even tried to schedule bulldozers for Phase 2. She was arrested publicly. Mrs. Delaney held a sign that said, H. O. Up equals heaps of arrests. That week, Oak Hills changed. No citations. No paranoia. Just neighbors sitting on porches, sharing lemonade, and laughing. Candace. Last I heard, she was trying to start an HOA in county jail. But this wasn't just about land. It was about power, abuse, and people waking up to fight back. Now, folks are finally building something real. Together. And I'll be watching. With a badge. And a lawn chair. If you've ever dealt with a nightmare HOA or power-hungry neighbor, I want to hear your story. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think these communities help? Or just control? Let's talk about it.